Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and of course, you can follow me on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Today, we're going to be talking about a little bit of what happened last night, as we also chop up what we can look forward to coming into the Father's Day weekend. We got a 15-game MLB slate on deck for tomorrow, and the 15 games is going to be the all-day Father's Day weekend. Chris Gray, what's up, big family? Good to see you. Good to see you, man. That is going to be the all-day slate. The 15 games we're talking about, and just tonight, man. Tonight was tough. I'm going to start off with what pissed me off the most so far this weekend. Is took a stab at the Millie Maker in golf, right? And I can understand me not putting together a stellar golf lineup because I am not the most learned golf guy. I turn to a lot of the cats in the shop for a lot of information, but I mean, I didn't make rosters 100% solely, off of the information that I got from the shop. No, I used some of my own judgment. I did. And the funny thing is, I used, okay, there was a point in Seth Rudnick and when Dexter were breaking down, their golf takes. There was a point where and ACP as well, but there was a point when Dexter Pope, D Pope 919 on Twitter, when he just rattled off these like four names, and he's like, these guys are very cheap. They're gonna be probably, not very highly owned, but these guys are cheap and they all could make some hay and be in play. And they were all like cheap as shit, these four guys, right? So then he starts to talk a little bit with ACP about his big win when he won the 100 grand. That's why they did the 100 band claim, right? And ACP was like, yo, it's just one dude that I'll always have a soft spot for. It's the Brandon Steele guy. I always have a soft spot for this guy, right? So I put that together. So I snatched the three dudes that Dexter Pope was talking about. I put Brandon Steele in it, but I picked my own studs. I went to the top. And the guys that they were talking about that were cheap were so cheap that I could pretty much get anybody I wanted at the top. So I go in and I make my lineup based on what these guys were talking about. And this is what I come up with. This is what I come up with, right? Based off what they were saying. Now, the guys that he threw out there, he was like, oh, yeah, Louis Oosteen, okay? He says Matt Kuchar. He says Kevin Kisner. He says, and the guy, other guy, ACP was like Brandon Steele. So the guy, all right, cool, I'm going to throw those guys in. So the guys that I picked on my own were Justin Rose and John Rahm. Now, these guys together cost me about 18 grand, I think, right? The bulk of my salary went to these two guys. And these are the most expensive guys. Both these guys are 18% owned, 19% owned. Brandon Steele was 9.7% owned, the least owned guy I got. He has the most points right now, 54.5 points. But Rahm and Rose, the guys that I chose, stank up the joint. 8 bogeys. I mean, just bogey central was what these cats was at, right? So that really told me, damn, I should have listened to the guys they were talking about at the top because maybe this lineup could have done a lot better. But I do have 4 guys that made the cut. There is a possibility that I can at least get to the cash line here. So yeah, the top was tough, bro. The top was tough. It was very tough. So that's the one thing, the first thing that pissed me off. And much like everybody else tonight, did not have great showings or good enough showings in my DraftKings MLB lineups. What's up, Andrew Pierce? I was just talking about you. I didn't have great a great showing in my DraftKings lineups for MLB tonight. Couple of things I was on, man, that were pretty decent. My very best lineup here was the $12 buy-in was my very best lineup, It was the stack we talked about that we did make in the group. It's with Norris, Scherzer, Rupp, Goldie, who really disappointed me. Drury disappointed me. Barney, how much can you expect from a guy that was that cheap? Owings disappointed me. Blanco came through. Peralta came through, and Polanco, very long shot, did not do well. And this lineup finished with 127.3 DraftKings points. Was my best lineup. I played about $50 tonight, so it got me. Andrew Pierce says only 1% of the people had 6 of 6 cuts. So that means I could have an outside shot. If those 4 guys play the greatest games of their lives, there's a very good chance that I can at least min cash. I'll take that. Okay. So played about $50 tonight. Won back 32.5 on one lineup. The rest of the lineups sucked. And what it was tonight, it was a combination of the pitching and just not having exposure to the 3 most prolific offenses of the evening. I'm talking St. Louis. I'm talking the Detroit Tigers. Not enough exposure to those guys, and also the Chicago White Sox. Now I did have a few of the guys sprinkled in and out, and the funny thing is I always go back and watch the line drive to kind of see if I was in the right spot or what I was on, and I can tell you, the line drive was on point. And my pitching was not bad, bro. I had a lot of Daniel Norris. I didn't fall for the Be a Genie stuff. I didn't have a ton of shares, but I had enough. If the stacks, man, the stacks that I decided to roll with personally were just not very good. I'm talking Atlanta was not very good. The best one that I had was the Arizona Diamondback stack, and the San Diego stack was pretty decent too. I did have a fair share of Milwaukee because I chose San Diego. I chose San Diego in my I chose San Diego in my parlay, and that didn't even go well. So lost about $10 in my parlay. Lost about 17 on DraftKings. So, and not boy, let me tell you, it's starting to cut into my winnings now. The bankroll is I wouldn't say it's dwindling, but hey, the bankroll was looking a little bit better. I'm down a few dollars now. I'm down a few dollars now. I've cut into the $500 winnings that I had last week, but that's all right. And see, what I want you to know is that Chris Gray says he didn't win it in Bovada, but he tore it up on DraftKings. That's the point. Hedge life. It's the only life. And I'm gonna get more into what we can expect, man, from those betting sites, because I really think it's a great way for us. Like if you check this out, this is OddsShark, and they do a really good job of keeping up with the public money lines, seeing where it's going. Like I've got this pulled up here for tomorrow, and you can already see, man, the public is still high on Toronto. Colorado is still a heavy favorite, and a lot of times the way that you can really, test it is to go against, like, rock with some of the underdog stacks here on DraftKings while betting with the public money sometimes. So I'm telling you that, the hedge life is a great life. I'm telling you, it works, bro. It works. Tonight, and I tested it for a few nights before I brought it out and talked a lot about it. But the last couple of nights, man, if I didn't win on DraftKings, I was winning. How do you play the parlay on Bovada? It's very simple. I'm gonna open it up for you one more time, man. Not one more time. I'll do it as many times as I need to, but I'm gonna show you. Okay. So let's take a look. Say you're on Bovada, you've logged in, you're good. Go to baseball, and it's gonna pull up the bets. Yo, I'm telling you, hedging helps, man. It really does, man, because it's not the same bet. It's not the same bet. It's a completely different bet, because you can, like tonight, you could have picked the Colorado Rockies to win the game on Bovada. Say you picked the Colorado Rockies to win the game straight up, because if you bet along the money line, you don't have to give up any points. It's just that's gonna tell you gotta play $100 to win 64. So if you bet $1, you're gonna win 64 cents here, okay, on Colorado. But you also could have hedged against this bet by saying, well, forget it. I'm gonna play a bunch of Giants bets. I'm gonna stack the Giants. I'm gonna play the Colorado Rockies in my 4 or 5 team parlay on Bovada. But to hedge that, I'm gonna make a stack on DraftKings of the San Francisco Giants. If you did that, you were in good shape tonight, because not only did the Colorado Rockies win, but the San Francisco Giants put up 8 runs. You could have done the same thing with in San Diego. You could have said, well, you know what? I'm going to bet with the Milwaukee Brewers, but I'm going to make a San Diego stack on DraftKings just to be sure. And you do that, there's a way where you can win on both ends. And that's what I'm talking about hedging it. So as far as the betting goes, you've got the games pulled up, right? These are the games for Saturday. Let's just say right now, I like the Toronto Blue Jays. They've got Marcus Stroman against Mike Pelfrey. I like them. So I'm going to select, I'm gonna go to the money line here, and I'm going to select them. And this is a straight up bet. I'm betting that the Toronto Blue Jays will beat the Chicago White Sox head up. No questions. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to pick the San Francisco Giants. I think they're going to take, well, they probably got Matt Cain tomorrow, so they're probably not going to win. So, and Kyle Freeland, I'm going to take the Colorado Rockies. The Yankees, okay, the Yankees, they're not going to win again. So I'm going to pick Oakland Athletics and Jesse Hahn, right? So I've got 3 teams. Now, the Cardinals and Orioles, I'm going with Wainwright here. This looks like an even game. I'm going to take Wainwright. Bam. So now that I've picked 4 games, I come over here, go to parlay. Select the parlay. They've got the games that I already picked up here in this top right corner. They got the games that I already like, right? Now I'm gonna wager $5 on this. So I'm gonna put $5 on this, on these four games, and if I win, if I get this right, if these teams win head up, if St. Louis beats Baltimore, if the Oakland A's beat the Yankees, if the Colorado Rockies beat San Francisco, and if Toronto beats Chicago White Sox, I would have turned $5 into $43.19. Okay, so now when I make my DraftKings lineup, I'm gonna hedge some. I'm gonna play some Yankees. I'm gonna play some San Francisco Giants. I'm gonna play some White Sox here, and the White Sox are gonna be terribly low owned because the line is just the money line is so off. And I'm gonna take it a step further because I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna see what the public is doing. I'm gonna check out the White Sox in Toronto and see that right now the public has 88% of the bet going towards Toronto. Only 13% are going to be going towards Chicago White Sox. So what does that tell me? That tells me, yo, I can go and I can say, you know what? I'm going to make a Chicago White Sox stack. I'm going to just do it. You see what I'm saying? And that is what I call hedging your bets. Okay? Now, of course, I haven't looked at anything yet, so these are not the actual bets I'm going to make. I'm just showing you the way that you can get your hedge life on. Okay? I'm just showing you where that you can get your hedge life on. And there's 2 sites we do this from. There's a many sites you can use, but Bovada and Betonline are 2 really good ones that I use. And I've got links already in the group. If you wanted to jump in, you can do that most certainly. Okay? So we do have that 15 game all day slate. I'm going to rock all day just so you see everything. But in the early, man, we've got 10 games. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 10 games that we do have. It's going to start at 2:10, and you've got the Cleveland, Minnesota, San Fran, Colorado, St. Louis, Baltimore. The tough thing about this, man, is if games, yeah, I'll be jumping into CFL as well. Yes, the good thing about this is this is the kind of slate to where by 2 o'clock, man, we should have full rosters. We should know who's playing everywhere, which is definitely going to be to our benefit. Okay. If the game started at 12, then these 4 o'clock games, we wouldn't really know what the batting orders would be until the 2 o'clock game, the 12 o'clock games already start. The good thing about this is the first pitch on this 10 game slate goes out at 2 o'clock. By then, we should know what all of these games, all the starting lineups going to be, all of the batting orders. We should already know that. Okay. So, and usually what we like to do in the line drive is break down pitching. But it's Father's Day weekend. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling generous. I'm going to go ahead and roll through the entirety of this 10 game slate. Then we're going to hit the games that we missed in the all day. Okay. Now I think there is an early. Is there an early? Because I know the first game is at 107, and that's going to be the Chicago White Sox and the Toronto Blue Jays. That's before the Cleveland game. Okay. Now this is a game. It's not going to be in play for you on DraftKings, or it's not going to be in play for you. Period. What you could do is you could take a look at this White Sox Toronto game and play it as a part of the all day, or jump into your sports betting with it. Go to Bovada, Betonline, whatever site that you want to use, and you can rock out there. Okay. So let's go ahead and start from an all-day standpoint. The first game we have on the slate is going to be the Chicago White Sox and the Toronto Blue Jays. They don't have yet a money line and all of that stuff posted for this yet. Mike Pelfrey here at 4.6K, a guy that can get abused. And I'm telling you, man, I have been sitting. Yeah, early. Yeah, the early is the main tomorrow. That's coming from Jeremy Ladd, and I second that emotion 100%. What we've got here is Mike Pelfrey, man. 1, 10, 18, 24, 19, 2, 4, 4, 2, 4. Not great at all. Definitely attackable here. And, you know, you look at this, man, and we have been waiting for the Toronto Blue Jays to come out and play well. We have been waiting for a good Blue Jays performance. And I'm not going to just jump off of them because, you know, they hadn't been completely stellar recently. Let's take a look at where they sit, though. I think they're a fairly disciplined team in terms of K rate. Where are they? Oh, they're 10th in the league in K rate right now, 22.8%. That's not great, but it's not horrible. 169 is the ISO with a 308 WOBA, so they are in a slump and need to break out. Last time I watched Pilfer, he just got in a jam and got lucky like 3 times. He's good to get lit up. That's coming from Lane Elliott, and I can definitely agree with that. So that's going to make a few of these guys playable, most certainly, man. That's going to make a few of these guys playable. Now, Justin Smoke did hit the jack yesterday, so I'm going to go Kendrys Morales here. I think I like him a lot. Marcus Stroman is definitely a guy that I do like. I'm going to have exposure to him. Even at 10.1, the guy does have very decent K upside. 25 points last time against Seattle. His worst game of the season came here against the New York Yankees, my New York Yankees, in Yankee Stadium, but he's been fairly consistent throughout the entirety of the season. He's a ground ball guy. He's a ground ball guy. He does pitch to contact in some respects, but he's a big ground ball guy. Even if Pelfrey doesn't get shelled, he'll pitch himself out by the 4th inning anyway, and the bullpen will have to exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Christopher Marie, we are on the same page with that. So Stroman, definitely a guy that we can use. The first game on the early slate, which is going to be serving as the main, is going to be, we got Ryan Merritt and Adam Wick. Let's go ahead and open this up on DraftKings just to be sure that the guys that we see here are going to be the correct guys. And we're coming. Bam, open that up. Alrighty. Ryan Merritt, Adam Wilk. Don't have a lot of information on either of these guys. Nothing here on Ryan Merritt. I'm sure some of us in the shop know what's going on with these cats. Then you got Adam Wilk, man, negative 3.15. Not a lot of innings pitched for him. Yo, that makes this game a complete. We could play a lot of these cats. This is some game stack shit, man. You got Dozier, Mauer, Sano, Grossman, Kepler. Man, I'm gonna stack this game. I like this. Then we're going back to Coarse, where Matt Cain will be taking on Kyle Freeland. Freeland has not been horrible this year, but he's not been great. 3 against Pittsburgh, 22 against Cleveland. That was a good one, and that was in Colorado. You know what everybody's gonna say is you can't play pitchers at Coarse. You can, and I think Kyle Freeland's a guy that you can play against the Giants, man. Every game is not going to blow up in Coarse, man. One of these games is going to be a 5-2 game or a 4-2 game. One of these games is going to be that way. And I definitely think you can take a shot at Kyle Freeland over Matt Cain. You've got St. Louis and Baltimore. Yo, I may be at this game tomorrow. We're going to Maryland, and I do want to get some MLB in my system. You know, I live in South Carolina, man, so it's very tough for me to get to a game. The closest place I can go is to Atlanta and watch the Braves, man. But I love Camden Yards. I've been there before. Really nice park. I want to see some home runs. I could definitely rock out there. We've got Adam Wainwright at 7K, Wade Miley at 5.6. Now, Wainwright has not been, horrible. If you look at the complete collection of what he's done over the last 6-7 games, the worst game he had was against Cincinnati when they just lit him up. But you got 13 against Philly, 25 against the Dodgers, 29 against Colorado in Colorado, 23 against San Francisco, 20 against Chicago. So the guy does have decent upside, and we know that the Baltimore bats do struggle to hit the ball, man. At 24.1% K rate, that's good for 6th in the league. 160 ISO here, 307 WOBA. You know, Andrew Pierce did bring up a great point that you got 11 mile per hour wind flowing out toward left field. So we could see a lot of runs here. And you know, the Cardinals, man, coming off of that 11-run performance, they're definitely going to get exposure from me against Wade Miley at 5.7. Not a great look for him. -11 his last game against the White Sox, 0 against Pittsburgh, 20.5 against Boston, 0, 17, 2, 11. You know, not great, not great. So Wade Miley is most certainly an attackable pitching prospect on a slate like this. I wouldn't rule out playing some of the Baltimore bats. I wouldn't rule that out at all. I wouldn't rule that out at all. I mean, they're due, bro. This game we got is at 4:05. It's gonna be the New York Yankees, my New York Yankees, and the Oakland Athletics. We got 7-mile-per-hour wind out here in the old Coliseum. 0% chance of rain here. You got Masahiro Tanaka and Jesse Hahn. Tanaka, man, 8.6. That's a pretty that. Judging by his best performances of the season, you know, judging by his best performance of the season, that's a very good price for him. Now, if you think you're going to get Tanaka, that's going to be on point, stuff's going to be working, I wouldn't see a problem using him. But, you know, the Oakland A's, man, have just been so good at home, man. Their home road splits are crazy. And we're taking a look here, you know, over the last 14 days, the Athletics have been dropping in K rate, okay? Now, they sit here at 22.4% K rate, still an extremely high ISO at 199 with a 338 WOBA. So I do think that they make, the way they've been hitting the ball lately makes Masahiro Tanaka attackable. You look at some of their bigger bats are going to come, you know, in lefty-righty matchups like Yonder Alonso. You know, you got Jed Lowry, a guy that can switch hit. So, yo, it's gonna be tough for me to play Tanaka tomorrow. It's gonna be tough. Next game we got is the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Philadelphia Phillies. Jared Eckhoff against Zach Godley. Yo, I am still leaning on the fact that the Arizona Diamondbacks have one of the best collections of bats in the league. And at some point, they have to have that outlier game where just because they're not in Chase Field, they still go out and put up 12, 13 runs. Like, that game is going to happen. And I'm not going to get off them until I get it. I will be playing the Diamondbacks on the road because I need to get that. They owe me that. They owe me money at this point. They had a decent performance yesterday. I think scoring 5 or 6 runs. But, yo, there was a lot left on the field, man. We saw, you know, horrible base running, you know, leaving guys on the field. I'm talking about, you know, 2 guys on in so many different spots and 2 guys on with 1 out and they get nothing out of it. Like, and that can't continue. You got Zach Godley here at 8.4, a guy that I do like. I think Godley is definitely playable in this spot. 20, 14, 21 in his last 3 starts. The guy is priced well enough for me to take a look at him here. And see, Jeremy Ladd says that he likes Eckhoff a little bit. And, you know, a lot of that can definitely come because of how you know, ridiculous the splits have been for the Arizona Diamondbacks while they're on the road. But man, you look at Jake Lamb, and this dude is a lefty, a righty masher. You look at David Peralta, Gregor Blanco, like all of these guys, man, hit righties well. And I really think Philly's gonna get their ass whipped tomorrow. So Eckhoff is not as bad as his numbers would imply. That's coming from Jeremy Ladd. Let's open those up. Just to take a look. We got 9, 10, 11, 11, 12, 12. Now, I mean, that's well, no, that's the efficiency. That's expected fantasy points. 14, 10, -4, 8, 8, 20. His best start of the season was 21. The second start against the New York Mets at home. Nah, bruh. I'm attacking him. I'm attacking him. Give me some Godley. I'm attacking Jared Eckhoff. I'm going at him hard. 15% chance of moderate rain here. There is 11-mile-per-hour wind going out towards center field in Citizen Banks Park. Godley, yo, Eckhoff sucks, and I'm going at him. Philly just broke an 8-game losing streak. They did that like against Boston. They broke an 8-game losing streak, and then they lost again after they won, they lost to the Diamondbacks. So yeah, give me some D-backs, man, in this spot, man. Next game we got is gonna be Miami Marlins and the Atlanta Braves. I was so wrong about the Braves. Jaime Garcia, lefty, his last start was very good. 24.35, 14, 14, 25, 27. Yo, Garcia has put together a solid collection of 5 starts in a row, man, at 7.4K against the Miami Marlins, who they're not tearing the cover off of the ball, but they have been hitting a little bit better. We saw Justin Bour come back and destroy one. I'm talking about put it way over the fence. We've got, pretty good. Now, the Miami Marlins are one of the best teams in the league hitting against lefties, which is probably going to take me off of having a lot of exposure to Garcia. I will play some of the Marlins in this spot. They're one of the best teams in the league against lefties. And then you look over here now. If we get Matt Kemp back, I'm going to like this Atlanta order a little bit more. But without Kemp, without Freeman, this is just not the same rotation, man. It's better to grab some one-offs and not try to stack this team. I did that yesterday. Did not work out well for me. Next game we got is the LA Dodgers and the Cincinnati Reds. We got Hyun-Jin Ryu and Asher Wojciechowski. Let's go ahead and check on DraftKings just to make sure. Anything that looks suspect, bro, I like to check. Anything. Okay, that's right. Ryu at 6.2 against the Reds. And you got Wojciechowski here at 4.9. Dude's just not playable. 115, 3.4. Not playable against the Dodgers. Give me some Dodger bats here. Ryu definitely is a guy that I'm going to consider, man. 7, 11, 17, 12.6. The dude does have really good stuff. Can hit strikeouts some cats. But, man, this is tough. I'd be more apt to rock with some of the bats here. But I just like Ryu. Something about me likes Ryu. Something about me likes him. Next game we got Tampa Bay and Detroit. We got Chris Archer and Michael Fulmer. Cincinnati stacks, man. I like Cincinnati. I can stack Cincinnati in this spot. All right, so now we got the homie with the good hair. Let's make sure that this is real. Pinch me if it's real, because I gotta have. Yes, sir. Chris Archer and Michael Fulmer. This should be an elite pitching duel. We got 15 miles per hour coming back toward the infield. We got Chris Archer at 12.4. We got Michael Fulmer at 8K. I'm going to tell you something. Archer has not been prolific over his last, 6 starts. 15 in the last game against Oakland. 30 against Chicago, the White Sox, that is. Texas, 16. 35 against Minnesota. 27 against the New York Yankees. Like, he has not been top flight elite. And I think that is going to take people off of him. Can't play Archer on the road. I'm going to pass on him. Well, last time at home, man, he stunk up the joint. Because I think that was at home. Yeah, at home against Oakland, bro, he got hit hard. 15.5. His worst game of the season was away with Cleveland. But, I mean, he just, man. But I like him, though. I can play him. I think he's, as Edward McAdams is saying, I think that Chris Archer is actually due for a solid game. Michael Fulmer here at 8K. Very solid pitching prospect. Not so great in his last start, but he has been fairly decent throughout the season. His best start was against Oakland when they weren't hitting well, 32 points there. But, what we like about the Tampa Bay Rays, what we love about the Tampa Bay Rays is the lefties. We love the lefty powers, okay? We love the lefty power. Now, Christopher Marie brings up a great point. Detroit just scored 13 runs. He's not attacking them with Archer. I get that. I dig that. And that's why I wouldn't have a problem playing a few guys, because you're also going to get those guys at very cheap prices. You're looking at Ian Kinsler, sub 4K, Alex Avila, sub 4K, Miggy is still sub 4K, Upton, Castellanos, all of these guys are going to be very cheap. James McCann at 2.4. But there's a reason why they're very cheap. There's a reason why they're very cheap. It's because Chris Archer is one of the better pitchers in the game. So this is one of those pivot spots, I think. I think Chris Archer can be kind of that pivot play on the slate where if you are not playing Archer, then what you are saying is that you believe in the Detroit bats. And I think you're going to have to make that known by playing a couple of them. And I'm going to do both. I'm going to have Archer in some lineups, or I'm going to have a few of the Detroit guys in opposition to him. So, yeah, man, up to that 3.7, that's a steal and a deal. If I had, I really hope that the public money goes toward Detroit side and that they are favored in this spot, because I'm going to take Chris Archer, bro. I'm going to take Chris Archer here. I'm on my Bovada, on my Bovada bets. I'm definitely going to take that. Matter of fact, let me look at that and see where that's at. I guarantee you it's in favor of Tampa Bay. It's got to be, bro. Oh, it hasn't come out yet. Yo, the Aces, man. It takes a while for the Aces to come out. It hasn't come out yet. But right away, I think Tampa Bay is going to be the favorite. just because they have a more elite pitcher on the mound. Next game we got is the San Diego Padres and the Milwaukee Brewers. We got Danielson Lamet against Chase Anderson. Chase Anderson is most assuredly in play here at 9.6K. I kind of like that. I don't love the fact that he's priced up so high, but he's a guy who I've been just getting him right. Looking over the last four starts, man, 24, 25, 31, 39.35. That's nice. That's nice. And this is against very good offenses. Arizona twice, and one of them was in Arizona, in Chase Field, against San Francisco. That was at home, away with the New York Mets. So, yo, Anderson has been very good lately, and I think he's in play. You look at the San Diego Padres, man, they are still one of the league's worst teams in terms of K rate, 28.9%. While they do sport a fairly high WOBA here, I believe that's 12th in the league at 199 with a 338 ISO. Now, this has been a different team. Yeah, man. Yeah, Chase Anderson, man, is priced. He's priced according to his last 4 games, definitely. Because take a look at what the pricing was when we were getting him for cheap. His best game of the season, we had him here, 4.7K. He went out and scored almost 40 DraftKings points here at 4.7. Then it shot up to 7.6, 7.9, 8K. Now he's up almost 10K. But I think it can be worth it though. I really do. I think it can be worth it. So next game we got is the Washington Nationals and the New York Mets. I can tell you, yo, if they hit they didn't like really, crush and jam up on Scherzer, but if they can do what they did against Scherzer, Strasburg, I like the Mets in this spot. Even though the Mets don't hit well at home, they are kind of banged up and beat up a little bit. Strasburg is a guy that I just don't like him. I just do not like Strasburg. And it's because I liked him a lot when he was good. Like when he was old Strasburg, I loved him. But he's a different pitcher, man. But the name is still the same. And I think people remember what the big phenom that he's been. He's been such a huge phenom at one point in his career, man. And people just will not let that go. And he continues to be looked at as a top flight ace pitcher. And he's just not that anymore. He's just not. He's just not. And for that reason, I think I'm going to attack him. And yeah, Max still had 35 points. Yeah, he still had 35 points. But and something that I like to say, I like to let people know is that Strasburg ain't Scherzer. Strasburg is not Scherzer. He's not. And I definitely think a few of these guys can be playable. Okay. On the other side, Seth Lugo here at 6.3. I believe he had a decent start last time out, 24.35 against Atlanta. That was very good. But I'm going to take a shot at some of the left-handed power for the Washington Nationals. I'm going to be there. The top aces haven't been as unhittable as in years past. That's coming from Charles Jarvis. Very good point you make there, homie. And plus, look at how cheap these guys are going to be, man. You're getting Jay Bruce 4.2, Duda 3.4. You're getting Granderson at 3.7. Let's check some BVP numbers. We gotta look at that. Let's go to MLB.com and check out some BVP numbers here, because that's what's gonna make the decision for me. If I can see some some solid looks, I'm gonna check it out. Oh, it's not gonna give me. I know we can go. We can go check out. We can go check out Swish. He says Strauss owns them. Go check out BVP, man. See what's happening. TJ Rivera, blah. Ain't nothing sticking out to me. Well, Cespedes, only 10 at bats though, or 10 attempts, 9 at bats. He is batting 444 against them. That's not great. That's not a big enough sample size. But I do want to check that out. I do want to. Neil Walker, who's injured. Cabrera, who's injured. Reyes. Yeah, they don't have. Yeah, they don't really have a good BVP against Strasburg. And you got to remember some of this is going to be when Strasburg was Strasburg. But I just don't like him, and I don't like him. I'm not going to fade the Mets. I'm going to play a couple of Mets bats. I just don't like Strasburg. I hate Strasburg. I don't like him. Not as a person, but as a pitcher, I don't like him. So I'm going to play some Mets bats. I think Strauss might have a decent game here, actually, coming from Christopher Marie. Next game we got is going to be the Seattle Mariners and the Texas Rangers. Yo, who the fuck saw that, bro? Yo, that's what got me. Because my two favorite pitchers on yesterday's slate, okay? My two favorite pitchers was, I hated Biagini. Didn't like him at all. I like Scherzer a little bit. I like Straley, but I couldn't pull the trigger because I like the Braves so much. I was on Norris was my number one. I liked him. I had him in the most lineups. And then I had a lot of Paxton. I had a ton of Paxton. And I didn't see the Texas Rangers jumping all over his ass like that. I did not see that, bro. That got me. Yo, that got me. I did not see the Rangers jumping all over him like that. That was bad. Christopher Reeve says Straley was his top-rated pitcher yesterday. And I knew he had exposure to him. Christopher Reeve, he'd be on point about that shit. Yo, yeah, man. Yo. So looking at Giovanni Gallardo here, 5.8 K for him, 16, 12, -4 his last few starts. Don't love that. And this is funny because this is going to be a game where you get off of the Seattle pitcher and you play some Texas Rangers, and he goes out and throws 6 shutout innings and gets 7 Ks. This is ridiculous. This is what we're looking for. Like, pitching is the most unpredictable thing. Or nothing is unpredictable because we the sweatshop. But it's the hardest thing to predict. If we lock our pitching in, man, we are good. I love Norris. And Norris was he was like 3% owned in most of my tournaments. 3% owned. Martin Perez here, 5.2. Another guy, left-handed pitching here. Has been priced down the last couple of games. 4.7 and 5.1, has not really produced very well. Not a guy that I think I can look to. The Seattle Mariners owe me money. I am gonna I'm gonna take some shots here, most certainly. You've got guys that are very cheap in this spot. I'm gonna take some shots here. Kyle Seager's at 3.8. Love to see him under 4K. Now, let's be real. Nelly Cruz is the only guy that really mashes against left-handed pitching. So it's going to be taking a chance jumping on some of those left-handed bats. But, the other guys, the Haniger, if he's going to be in the rotation at the top of the order, I love him here. Taylor Motter is a guy that I'm going to have interest in at 2.9. Even Ben Gamble, if he's leading off. Heredia, maybe. So I'm going to take a shot at Martin Perez, most assuredly. And I'm also, against Gallardo, I'm going to have some lefty power from the Texas Rangers. I'm going to definitely make that a part of my lineups here. The next game on the slate is going to be the Boston Red Sox and the Houston Astros. We got Rick Porcello and David Paulino. Paulino killed me last time, only scoring 2.2. I thought he was going to be in line for a solid start against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, but they hit him hard, and I think that the same thing could happen again against the Boston Red Sox. Kind of like them. I kind of like Porcello in a spot at 7.3. He's a guy against the Houston Astros, man. They have been very up and down. This was once recently. And see, one thing about this, we've got to know when a team, because this is MLB. This is MLB. It's very similar to NBA in this respect. It's so streak driven. Okay, you're gonna have great hitting scoring streaks, and you're gonna have bad hitting scoring streaks in MLB. And the better teams have the longer scoring streaks and the shorter slumps. That's all MLB is. MLB is streaks and slumps. It's hitting streaks and slumps. Okay? The better teams have the longer hitting streaks and the shorter slumps. And I think that we can kind of see that at one point during the season, we were like, oh my God, the Nationals, the most remarkable offense to ever play MLB. And then it was, oh my God, the Yankees, they're crazy. The Yankees cannot stop scoring runs. And then it was, oh my God, the Houston Astros are the craziest team. I've never seen this many runs scored by anybody. Oh, the Woba is crazy. And that's how it is. It's streaks and slumps. And now we're seeing the Yankees getting their ass whipped. We're seeing the Nats over the last few games before tonight, not scoring a ton of runs, and we've also seen a slight decline in the Houston Astros production. It's streaks and slumps. Okay, so we've just got to be real in tune to how long a streak is going to last and how short a slump can be. And I think that we are seeing somewhat of a slumping Houston Astros offense. You take a look here; they're still among the league's best in K rate, 16.5%. The ISO that was up once up above 240 is down to 200. The WOBA is was down from 396 to 350. So this could be a team that has taken a couple of steps back as teams do throughout the season. And for that fact, I think that Rick Porcello here at 7.3 is a play that I might want to take advantage of here. I know nobody's going to want to play him. I can most assuredly, I can guarantee 14 mile per hour win here in the dome, 62%, 0% chance ran, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's going to want to play the Boston Red Sox again. Nobody wants to play them. Christopher Reed says the Houston Astros are road warriors. Well, they're at home, so that kind of bodes well for Porcello in this spot. And I think I can play some of these guys. I kind of like Boston here. Next game we got is the Kansas City Royals and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. And just like we were talking about with streaks and slumps, okay? The Kansas City Royals, man, have been on a really good hitting streak. Is that going to continue forever? No, of course. Streaks and slumps. But we're going to take a look here and see where they stack up. I believe they have been fairly disciplined at the plate, 18th in the league in strikeout percentage, 20.2%, 214 ISO, one of the best in the league over the last 14 games. You've also got a 358 WOBA here. So this is a team that is dead in the middle, man, or toward the end of a really hot hitting streak against Alex Meyer here at 7.6. Meyer has had a couple of decent starts so far this season, 26 against Detroit, the best being again against Detroit, 27.25. Not a great showing against the Yankees here at 10.5. A lot of people were on him then too, but I wasn't. And I think we can continue to play some Kansas City Royals in the spot. Most assuredly, some of that lefty power, guys like Mike Moustakas, who I think is due for another jack. Eric Hosmer here. Lorenzo Cain, man, is just a guy, a masher. He's going to go out and he can hit very well. Bonifacio, Whit Merrifield, all guys I think we can take a look at. Even Alex Gordon at 3.4. Kansas City has been heating up. Definitely been heating up. Now, against Jake Junis, I will have some exposure here to a couple of these guys. Eric Young Jr., he's now priced at the 4K. I kind of like him in this spot. You've got 8 mile per hour wind, a 0% chance of rain. Everything's good. Meyer has been good, but he just doesn't. He has that walk problem. He does have a problem with walking batters, definitely. And the last game on the slate, on the all-day slate, is going to be the Chicago Cubs and the Pittsburgh Pirates. We got Jake Arrieta priced all the way up to 11.2, and Ivan Nova at 7.1. I can get behind. I see a reasoning for playing both of these guys. Okay. First thing I want you to notice is there's a possibility of delay or rain out. 13% chance of moderate rain here in PNC Park. We got 4 mile per hour wind, 82 degrees here, 68 dew point, 64 humidity. Arrieta, man, the Pirates have not been particularly great hitting. Now, in terms of K rates, they've got one of the league's lowest at 17.4%. But the ISO, man, 152, they're just not hitting for a ton of extra bases. The WOBA is fine at 356. So, that's going to take me off of Arrieta 100%. But I'm going to like him in some spots. And I think he's another one of those pivot plays to where if you don't like Arrieta, then that means you should get a few of those Pittsburgh bats. And probably one of the most contrarian things to do is going to be, Ivan Nova. At 7.1, he's had some very good starts this year. And everybody was kind of off of him last time against the Miami Marlins, and he went out and scored 24.9 fantasy points here, which is very good. This is a guy that has really good stuff, man. If it's working, it's really good stuff. Now, it's going to depend on if we see Chris Bryant. I know he sat out the last game. We're going to have to stay tuned for that. Ben Zobrist as well. So, Ivan Nova is an extremely contrarian play, and I think he's one that we should consider. Okay? The price on Arrieta is high, man, 11.2. That's a big price on him. So let's go back and take a look at some of the pitching prospects that we've talked about. If Stroman was in the main, I'd be Stroman Gali. Maybe I'll play the all day. Yeah. Edwin McAdams, man, much love to you, fam. Hold it down. All right, so these are the guys that we talked about we like the most. Now, you all Definitely did say you like Chris Archer here. I mean, Steven Strasburg, Archer, Arietta, Stroman in the all day only. Chase Anderson, the guy that I like. Zach Godley. Ivan Nova is, I think the cheapest we're going here is Ivan Nova. But I think we're going to have to find some more pitcher value here. And we're going to do that tomorrow. Now, there's a very good chance that I won't be able to do a line drive at 5. Actually, I'm going to go lay down for 2 hours, get up at 4:30 a.m. and then make my way to DC to kick off Father's Day weekend with my dad, man. We got 3 generations of the Simmons men. My son and I are gonna go. We're gonna go visit with my dad, man. Probably try to catch an Orioles game, or we might even ride to New York, man, and catch the Nationals at the Mets. We're gonna do that, one of those things, okay? So there's a good chance that I won't be able to do the line drive at 5. However, if anybody wants to step up and do it, you're more than welcome. Hit me up. I'll give you a couple of pointers or tips or tricks or whatever. Share you a password or whatever I need to do. Make sure you take a look at your Bovada bets and keep your eye on stuff like this, the money lines and the public bets. See where they're going to be going, just so that you can have a good idea on what to expect. Okay. Now see the Tampa Bay. Look, all the money's going to Detroit here. Do you see that? 85% of the public bet going to Detroit. Nobody wants to play Tampa Bay tomorrow. And I love some Tampa Bay bats. The lefty bats against right-handed pitching. Love that. So you all enjoy your Father's Day weekend, man. There's a very good chance I can get back to you on Sunday. I'm gonna take all of my equipment. That way, if we get to the hotel in time, I can jump in and do the line drive at 5 o'clock with you. Hopefully, I'll be able to do that. We may be at a game. I'm not completely sure, man. But message me on Twitter, on Facebook. Hit me up. The email, dfssweatshop@gmail.com. Any questions you may have. Enjoy your Father's Day, man. Big shout out to all of you. Thank you so much for being involved, man. And let's do what we always do. Let's if you're on FanDuel, let's keep it 250. If you're on DraftKings, let's do our very best to keep it 200. Peace.